Alrighty guys, so this has been highly requested by a lot of you on the channel. You guys have been asking how my bike's been since I put more hours on it. So the bike has 58 hours on it. We have 58.4 hours on it. At 50 hours, we did a top end. Now, I know a lot of you guys are gonna say, oh, why'd you wait so long to do a top end? Well, this is my first new 125 and I wanted to see how long it could go, which I know to some of you sounds dangerous, but sometimes, most of the time for me, in my case, you can tell when an engine's starting to give up and slow down. And in my case, when we did do the top end, the piston came out immaculate. It could have gone for, I want to say 20 to 30 more hours. So that was super good about it. But here's the main issue with this bike that we've had for the longest time is the detonating issue where it cuts out and it can do it on a face of a jump. Usually for me, it would happen when you're in a high RPM. So let's say you're second wide and you just wait a second longer to shift, and then you shift and then you're wide open again and you just kind of ring it out to the top and then you slow down. I have a couple clips of like on my page where you guys can hear it totally bog. It kind of sounds like a fouled spark plug, and then once you totally let off and get going again, it's totally fine, which is really weird. I think it's just mean. But here's what solves my issue. And this is just me personally. I don't know if this is a problem on all 2023 and up KTM 125s. But what we determined after rebuilding the top end is that the squish gap was wrong on the cylinder head, which if you think about it from my perspective, if you're getting detonating issues, if that squish gap's not right, it's detonating at the wrong time. Like the ignition is happening at the wrong time, which would cause issues while the engine's running. So once we did the top end and we got the squish gap set up right by MR Performance, go check him out if you guys haven't. I know a lot of you guys locally watch the videos. He got this thing dialed in. So that's just my idea of why I think everything was wrong about it. I don't know if this is a problem with all the bikes coming out of the line, but we did determine that a lot of the bikes from the factory, the squish gap isn't correct, and we had the issue solved. I will say I would like to try a Pro Circuit exhaust just to see if that would gain more power. The only problems I have with this bike is that with the new TBI, they don't have a tool that comes with it to basically tune it, change it. Because think, if I'm gonna take this bike to, let's say, Colorado, where the elevation is a lot higher, this thing is gonna need more air in there. Like, it's just gonna be a lot different. And yeah, so that's the only issue is if anything goes wrong, even like a check engine light, you have to take it to a dealer, they have to plug it in, and then that's a service fee. So I think it's like $50 to do. I remember I had to pay like $50 to get a light cleared on it, or a code cleared. And the code kept coming back for no reason. It would just start to run a little weird, and then after the code, and then it'd get cleared and it'd run great again. So besides that, I do not have a tune on this. You guys know it's all stock, just with the full FMF system with the works pipe on the front and the FMF 2.1 on the rear. I still do not ride in the green map just because I don't know how to respond, and I just got used to the white map because the power comes on a little different than the green. So I've been used to that for a while. The other thing I do is I run the vented side panel, so that's been good for me. And then I also switched to Motor X, which I know you guys are probably gonna say, well, why didn't you run that before? Because that's what they recommend. Well, I've always ran Redline on my bikes, and Redline, you guys know, is a pretty big brand in the motocross industry. And I think part of the reason that I had a detonating issue as well was running that Redline stuff, because I think the Redline burns a lot leaner, a lot hotter, because that piston came out very clean. There was no carbon buildup on it. Once we switched to Motor X, got that squish gap figured out, it ran so much better. Okay, and another thing that people were worried about when these bikes came out was the WP Air Forks. I'm a little bit big for this bike. I'm gonna say like 155 pounds and 6 foot tall. I'm gonna say that I love the Air Forks on this. However, you guys know I have a 250 SXF, and I did not like them on that. I'm not sure what it is about these ones, but I got them dialed in to be perfect, and it might be because I'm a little heavier. I think these bikes are more tailored to like the 100 to 130 pound range. At least that's what I assume, because this bike's usually from, what is it, like 16-year-olds to like 18-year-olds. When you're going between super mini to 250, you're kind of on 125. So I do like that. I know a lot of people had issues with these map switches. I haven't had any issues with that. No problems with the starter. The clutch has been great. A lot of people that ride this say my clutch is real good on this. I don't really know what that means, but yeah. And then I never had, a lot of people had an issue with the coolant T-hose cracking. I still have the stock one in there with the, it's like a regulator. It's a temperature sensor. So basically it doesn't let your bike rev out until it's warmed up. It's a coolant deal. So I still have that in here. I haven't really done anything to it. But yeah, besides that, I haven't really had any issues with it besides, the first couple weeks of owning it. It was in and out of the shop because I got one of the first ones and they had lots of problems. You guys know, I had to get like 3 recalls done. It was like it's been a while since I've done this. So it was like a bracket that you had to get put on in the stator. It's something, I don't even remember. This was a long time ago. You had to get a bracket put in and then a new tune. And honestly, I just wish I did the rebuild and switched oils, because it would have been a lot better bike. But here we are, lesson learned. We have 5 hours on this top end. So it's been running great. But yeah, there's so much I could say about this bike. And I, at this point, wouldn't hesitate to buy another one, just because I kind of know what you need to do to get these to run right. Now, they're not perfect by any means, and a lot of people would still say that they'd rather have their 22 carbureted bikes and older, which they're not for me. Those carbureted bikes, the power bands are so different from these, at least from the YZs to that, and I've ridden the 22 KTM. They're just, it's weird. The older bikes have a lot of bottom end. These ones have all top end and they rev to the moon. But yeah, besides that, it's been a great bike, and that's the reason I've kept it at past 55 hours. I know you guys probably, if you go to your local marketplace, you probably see a lot of these for sale for like $7,000, and they're just saying they're moving up to 250s because they don't want to deal with the issues. And like I seen a couple around here where in the background you'll see a 22 125, and you'll see the 23 and 24-ish bikes were for sale. It's because the 22s are faster. Allegedly, with the tune from certain places, you can get 8 more horsepower in MRX02. I haven't confirmed that. That's just what I heard and saw on their dyno sheets. But I am probably not going to do that, just because I already had a disaster trying to get this tuned before and just don't want to deal with it anymore. And it's at 55 hours. You guys know I put maybe 70 hours on my bikes and I get rid of them. So yeah. But besides that, it's been a great bike. I would not hesitate to buy it again, and I would recommend it to you guys. And it's a really beginner-friendly bike, really easy to ride. If you've never been on a 2-stroke, the TBI makes it so easy to ride. But besides that, that's my review at 55 hours and one top end on my 2023 125 SX. If you guys have any questions, leave them below. I will get to them. But yeah, thanks for watching.